Okay, guys, so we're going to get started. I know we don't want to miss too much time here, and I'm certain that we all had a fabulous lunch, and the DJ was off the hook. I know he was. I am Dr. Crystal Nacio. I am the Dean of Workforce Development for Barstow Community College. I have my fantastic team here, and they're on camera because they know that's the rules. James Lee in the corner here, so wave James, he's our director. We have Danielle Jeffers, she is our job developer. Andrew Church, he's everything students. He helps our students with all things. And Jessica Bales, who is here from as an employer partner with us today. So really excited to have all of you. And like I said at the beginning of the meeting, if you have an opportunity, please put your camera on because this is going to be super interactive. We're really going to get into it. We're really going to have a good discussion. We'll have a breakout session, and about halfway through, we're going to have it. Oh, Jason! Yay, my friend! My dean friend in the house. So excited to have everybody here. Like I was saying, just the order of for today. It's going to be informal. It's going to be active. It's going to be discussion oriented. It's going to be hitting our pain points. This is the opportunity for us to really have a good discussion. So it's going to be a good working time for all of us. So as you come in, get an opportunity, wipe the crumbs off your face from lunch, put the camera on because I'd love to see you, okay? So let's get us started. I'm gonna share my screen, which always kind of bums me out because I can't really see everybody after that, but that is okay. We're gonna get through it. Okie dokie. So getting to my PowerPoint here, and here we go. All right, what are you seeing? Are you seeing my kids?
No, workforce ready.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. Okay, so at Barstow Community College, we rebranded ourselves last year, and we became workforce ready. So we took on the region's idea of ready. Oh, hey, Dan. What's up? That's my boy, Dan. We became workforce ready. So super excited. This promotion is actually, it's not just not just the motto that we put on bumper stickers. It's actually what we really believe in here at Barstow. So really excited to be here. So today's presentation is going to be reverse engineering guided pathways for a powerful consumer message. And I know that always sounds like, oh, wow, that's engineering. No one's going to come into my meeting because I wrote that down, right? But bottom line is we need to figure out what are our labor market statistics telling us so that we can have good programs. That's it. Very, very simple. So this is the session. These are the goals. Understand the importance of labor market, employment trends, and local needs to develop powerful and responsive courses. So really getting into those labor market statistics, analyzing them, and learning that skill so that as we move forward, we're ahead of the game instead of behind the ball. Okay. So we all know this is what guided pathways is. These are the 4 areas of guided pathways. This is very important to our calculus so that we understand truly what we're doing. Guided pathways indicate there's 4 areas: clarifying the path, entering the path, staying on the path, and ensuring learning. Every single one of these areas has various steps, okay? So in the first step in clarifying the path, career exploration, setting goals, and finding programs, this is absolutely relevant to the student start. How are we starting the student? Are they understanding where they're going in their major? Do they know what career options are available to them? Have they set a goal long-term, short-term? That's what's very important about this step. This step also includes a lot of preparation on behalf of the college. We have to know from a consumer's angle, from the mindset of the student, how are our programs being presented? Are they being presented in a manner that makes sense? Are they being presented in a manner that the students will actually know that they have a career path? And so that's this right here, this orange is very important to create a strong foundation. Moving beyond that, obviously entering the path, We want everyone to have an ed plan. We want everyone to have advisement. We want counselors that, to have touch points with them. And we want to make sure that we give them recommendations and mentoring. The stay on the path is what we do. This is our bread and butter, right? This is us. If our product was anything, it is good education. It's fantastic education. It's worthwhile. And so we help our students. We nudge them. We remind them. We provide early alert systems. We have visual progress in our dashboards on Canvas to see how the students are doing. We provide community-based support, student clubs, various programming. And then we obviously have our various student supports. This is what we're doing while they're in the class. What happens after the class is very important as well. How do we ensure that they knew where their path was going? How do we ensure that they learned, right? Analytics, analytics, and analytics in that order. Okay, so that is exactly what we're going to discuss today. Data and the importance of building it into the way that we review pathways and the success of those pathways. Any questions on this? Okay, so we're going to start to get into it. Let's discuss, and let's discuss amongst each other. So if you don't want to be on camera, do not worry about it. No harm, no foul. Honestly, I'm surprised I have a good enough hair day for camera today, so don't worry about it. Let's discuss. So unmute yourself. Where in that process that I just showed you should we introduce employment needs? Okay, so we talked about the 4 areas. Remember, we'll go back. Where in here do we introduce employer needs? Thoughts?
All of them.
Thank you. All of them. But what's most important? How do we look at it, Jason? How do we look at it in orange in compared to green? What's the difference? And I know you know this because you're a dean, but
Well, orange is what we're presenting to the students and helping the students find their ways. Some of our students know exactly what they want to do and they're going to go on. Some of our students think they know what they're going to do and they're going to change their mind. And some of our students come to us with no clue on earth what they're going to do.
Exactly.
And so it's meeting all 3 of those scenarios to help the students find their way.
Absolutely. And understanding our employment needs, right, at the local, regional, state level, very important. So what if a student they were wanting to do typewriting, right? What would we say to that student right now?
Why? What is it that you're interested in? Why would you want to learn about type? Well, not why in a negative way, but just kind of explore. What is it about typewriting that intrigues you? What is it that you think that will help you do? It's that kind of why.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that. So what you're saying to me is that there's no bad answer for the student, right? They could come in with an antiquated idea of what they could possibly get a job in. And that has happened. We've had students come back after 20, 30 years being off of school and come back thinking that this is an emerging field, and that field has come and gone, right? So we have these conversations with the student right away, but it's with that idea that what's happening next, right? What's happening next in that field, that same skill set could possibly help that student to get employed, right? So really great discussion. Thank you so much. I wanted to say, Jason hit it right off the bat. Of course, it's in every single step. There's a reference in this guide of Guided Pathways, Planning, Implementation, and Evaluation from the Chancellor's Office in every component to employment, okay? So there's a real focus on what is employment, okay? Where are we helping the student and what information are we getting them? So I love that we're using the chat. James, if there's something in the chat that you need to just stop me, tell me, whatever. For whatever reason, it's not letting me pop that up as well. So I want to bring this up. A capacity to use the data is in the planning stage, right? So there is no excuse for us as educators not to understand how to use data and how to make sure that we empower ourselves and eventually our institutions and students through the use of data. And so we can't be afraid of it, right? We need to kind of dig in and dig deep. So that's what we're going to do today, okay? The other, the component that I wanted to bring to your attention as well is in preparation, building partnerships with K-12 universities and employers. So I'm going to say this again and again. The employers need to be at the table. Jessica Bales, can you wave your hand? Jessica Bales is our honorary employer today. She is from PG&E, okay? That company employs 20,000 people. She represents in a very real way the idea of the partnership that we have, okay? So very important to this pathway is that idea. Thoughts on this? Any just kind of things coming to mind as you're reflecting on why guided pathways really needs to be enveloped in the idea of employment? Anybody have any keen thoughts?
There was one comment in the chat from Shirley. It says, from the curriculum side, employer needs are crucial for the stay on the path pillar while we review, revamp, and design curriculum. Absolutely.
Oh my gosh. I'm going to put that quote on my PowerPoint for the next time I give this. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And who did you say, Cherie or Shelley?
Shireen.
Thank you, Shireen. It's very important for us to build curriculum that is responsive. Bottom line, we need to be responsive. And so you're absolutely right. I love it when pathways or career education is seen as that's what they do, right? That's what those folks do. That's not the case anymore. And we heard it today from Monica Lozano, that career education, employers and stakeholders need to be in the room for every major, anthropology as well as accounting, right? So engineering as well as ENT, they all need those employer engagement pieces in there and that data to support it. So the difference between, I love this. So when I was thinking about this presentation through the week, and I do this often, when I know I'm going to present, I don't put my thoughts down quite right away. I think about it, I let it like mull and stew in my brain for a minute. The one thing that came to my view, and it was a really clear image, was a pathway. It doesn't matter where you end up, right? Or how long it takes you to get there. So I had a vision of a person looking at themselves in the mirror, and at one point being in, an EMT uniform, and the next point being in a firefighter's uniform, and then the next point being the chief, and the next point being, in a state assembly. That is the pathway. Okay, that's the idea, that there's growth throughout the life cycle that we need to support. And so get the student the skills every step of the way. How many of you remember the old times when having a degree could get you a job? Do you guys remember that? Yeah, kind of. Okay, how many decades ago was that the case, would you say? Just throw a number out. We're just hypothesizing right now.
20 years, maybe.
20 years?
I'm not confident it was ever really true.
I know we're really embedded in the idea that it was never true either over here, but that was a concept, right? That was a message that if you had a 4-year degree, you could get a job anywhere, and you didn't need any experience. You just needed a degree. I'm going to tell you right now, that's not the case at all. We have stacks and stacks of resumes with a lot of people with degrees that have no experience that are not getting jobs, and that's the honest truth. So the difference between transfer and certification is the amount of time a student spends in the classroom. So they can be a CNA, an LVN, an RN, an NP. It just matters. So I use this one because As some of you already know, I was the Dean of Nursing in Allied Health, Associate Dean of Nursing for MSJC for a time. And so my wheelhouse, I love Allied Health, but it's actually really kind of nice in the way that it really structures things. Did you know you could be a CNA at 16? Okay, pretty cool. That is pretty cool. LVN's right after that. RN, associate's degree level, BSN, MP, DNP. Okay, this is the life cycle of a person who's just interested in nursing. That's the idea. Pathways is this exact idea, that as the person goes through from this level of education to this level of education, they're gaining more and more skills, but within that same field or a similar field. Very, very important. Okay. So what does it mean to reverse engineer our programs? Well, we got to look at the end first. Okay, have you ever done that? Got in a book and read the back of the book first? You're like, oh, boring. No, not having it. That's what our students are doing. They are very savvy consumers, very savvy consumers. They have access to Google and Yelp and all these things, and they will Google and Yelp us to death, right? And so we need to be able to have in our hands the opportunity, the knowledge of, okay, you're interested, you like math? Well, what about math? Like you were saying, Karen, what about math is that you like? Is it engineering? Is it architecture? Is it teaching? What is it about math, right? So we need to look at the end goal first. So really we're trying to help them kind of set themselves up for that. Here are the 16 career clusters. And I bring this up because I didn't know what kind of teams we would have today. But not everybody may know what these clusters are. But this is a federally kind of put together, since Perkins was a thing in the 60s and 70s. This is what started, and it's evolved into 16 career clusters. These are the career clusters that are currently considered in all of these areas. And so you'll see hospitality, information technology, marketing, business, manufacturing, government and public administration, art, technology, communication, health science, education, architecture, finance, transportation, human services, law, science, so our STEM, agriculture, and food. Okay, so really very broad. But what's nice about this is very similar to what looks like in our pathways, right? Our pathways align with these ideas very, very nicely. I'm going to just take a commercial break because I figured I would need some water. And I'll give you guys a quick little commercial of what we do at Barstow. All right. I love that music. It peps me up. It gives me hope. But what I loved about that video is that it showed the students in movement, right? Moving through their careers, being happy, gaining the skills that they need to move forward. It's just a very powerful message. I'm not going to read you this quote, but it is in your packet, but I do want to bring you to a couple of things. The Chancellor's Office did put together some really good resources on behalf of Guided Pathways, and one of them was a labor market and data article that says use your labor market basically for the purposes of programming. And so I'll read the first component. It says the need to track employment and earnings of graduates is by no means new to community colleges. They have reported information about job outcomes for graduates of their career and technical education programs to federal and state agencies for decades. Don't we know? Preach, Jason. In recent years, colleges have also been increasingly examining data on a regional job trends to align their program offerings with projected labor market needs. Some colleges are now even experimenting with providing students such information to help them choose a major, both as a way to increase their chances of graduation and to improve their chances that student chooses will lead to living wage jobs and strong care. I love this quote, and I love that Monica Lozano today said about living wage jobs and how that's a very important component of what we do. Where is the data? Okay, here we are. We're getting into it, guys. I hope you're ready. This is where the data lies. For the local level of the Center of Excellence, this is the website to the Center of Excellence. It's in your packet, but we're going to take a look at it as well. We also have the good fortune to have the Mountain Desert Career Pathways program in the area, and they provide us with up-to-date it's institutional and industry spotlights, so it's fantastic. On the state and federal level, you can use, obviously, the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics and our employment statistics here with the EDV, okay? ONET is another one as well. This is where you get the data. It is not difficult. What's nice about these two, the local ones, is you can put in a request, tell them what you need, and they'll populate a really nice report for you, which I'm going to show you a little bit in a second. So let me actually pop out of this really quick and show you what MDET's got. So I just talked to you about Mountain Desert Economic Partnership. This is their labor market tab. And if you go down here, this is what it looks like. How fantastic is this? This is such a nice, visual, and they have it in every sector, all 16 sectors, okay? So if you pick any sector, you can get a really nice report that looks very similar to this for your employment information. The Center of Excellence, this is the next one. You can look and search by region, you can look by Inland Empire, and you can look by sector as well. So this is a really good resource for you to find information as far as where you can get labor market information that is very specific to our area. Why do you think I keep saying specific to our area? Why is that?
We want our students to stay here.
Yep, we want our...
I'm tired of training students and sitting with LA and Orange County.
Exactly, it's not the same student, right? It's not. Students in Inland Empire are not Orange County students, they're not LA students, they're not Sacramento students, they're not Oakland students. They're different, right? And so the population is different, the opportunities are different, so finding local information is extremely important. What I'm saying is that there are mechanisms in here to get it and to get it easily. All right. Using the data, so this is from that article I talked to you about. It helps us to make decisions to decide what college offerings we should be offering. When we look at the data today, we're going to say, okay, what are the emerging fields? What available jobs are there? And do I have the programming in place to do that? That's the question, okay? Assess program effectiveness. How are we doing? Okay, we think we're building really good skills, but maybe they don't know anything about welding. We need to check it. We need to check in with our employers and check it often. We need to help our students make informed decisions and the good choices in their career path. And then we also need to advocate for them. All right, you guys, buckle up. Let's get started. So we have Chris. We don't have that many folks, so let's just do groups of 2. And I am going to stop share for a minute. I am going to put my file in here. So you're going to get a file in the chat. Once you get that file, I want everyone to download it. Okay. Let's see here. Folder. And it's a really nice Excel sheet. Okay. So go in the chat box, download the COE IEDR Perkins 5 occupational table. Let me know if anyone's having trouble. We'll give that about 30 seconds to download for everybody. And then we are going to do the following. So I'm going to share back my screen. And when you go into your site or into your chat room, I'm actually going to put, if you could put these questions in there, that would be fantastic. If not, I will drop them in there. Let's talk a little bit about what you're going to see. When you pull up that IEDRC document, you're going to notice a couple of things. You're going to notice the SOC code, description, high skill, high wage. Okay, it's both high skill and a high wage. Is this occupation high skill? Yes, but is it also high wage? That is very important information. It'll give you the annual openings in this area, guys, in the Inland Empire, not in Sacramento, not throughout the state. It's the Inland Empire, okay? Annual openings, the median salary, the median earnings, the typical entry-level education, and then how much experience they might need. Okay, so this is all in that sheet. Today, any questions on how this is laid out? No? All right, so we're going to talk about what we're going to do. So now that we have our document, we went over it a little bit. You're going to be able to get into that document, filter it by whatever you want, income, by high wage, high growth, by program type, okay, by sector, whatever you would like. Play with it. You're not going to break it. Just throw it around, see what you're looking at, okay? Review it. Look at the trends. What am I seeing? Oh, there's a lot of annual jobs for this particular area. What are the areas of growth? 2 questions, very key. What are the areas and how can we respond with the program? What are the areas of growth and how do we respond in programming? Those are the 2 questions. So you're going to work with your partner and you're going to get down to the meat of this data and look at it. Questions about the assignment. Didn't know you were going to school today, huh? All right. Well, let's get to it. I will pop in and out of your sessions to see how you're doing, so don't worry about that. Are we all set, Chris?
Yep, we're all set.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, perfect. Good. Oh, good. I don't know what I did, but it worked. So that's good. Okay, so let's chat, guys. Let's talk. How did it go? Did anyone break the data? No. Good.
I don't.
And the data didn't break me either.
So not hard. It's not hard to, we don't have to be scared. So, but what did we learn? What are your thoughts? Share out.
Well, this is Karen, and it wasn't so much about being scared. I'm not afraid of data per se, but I learned that I was looking at it in one particular way, and Danielle really helped me look at it in a very different way. So first I was saying, well, where's the yearly comparisons? How do you see growth if you don't go year to year to year to year? But that doesn't account for emerging. And so I see very clearly now that the way she helped me to look at it was, the jobs that were, lower wage, in demand or high demand, decent salary, and not a lot of those were the building blocks to get into when you had your pathway of 16 to 40. Mm-hmm. Or 16 to, and you could see then, well, that's just a starting place. Right. So I thought that was just a great perspective. So thank you very much to Danielle in that way.
Yeah, she's fantastic.
Yes, she is.
Anybody else have thoughts? Thank you, Karen. That's impactful. Shireen, did you want to talk a little bit, or did you want me to share out?
Oh, I can share out. Well, we talked in terms of curriculum design too, that those that are lower skill, when we had filtered it, could be non-credit curriculum for students if they fit within those non-credit categories. We talked about, for example, CNA, right? So our college launched that as non-credit because it was a little bit of a lower skill. We responded to the LMI data, but because they can start at the high school level, that was one way that we were responsive using the LMI data. Also, Dr. Crystal guided us to sort it by highest income salary, annual salary, and see how our colleges could serve those needs if we aren't already serving those needs. So that's kind of how we looked at it.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a really good discussion, very eye-opening. There's emerging fields in high income, and you would see almost the same fields in low income. So it just depends on the skill level and the amount of time experience. So how do we shoot for the high income ones? Look at that first. So that's really good. Build our students up to that level. Anybody else want to share out? Maybe one or two more, and then we'll move on. All right, it's okay. So hopefully today you guys were able to learn a little bit about our data and the fact that it actually can be sorted, it can be looked at, we can review it in different ways so that we can make really good decisions. And I think it's important to decide as a college, when you look at a program, like Shireen was saying, when you look at a program that is maybe not as high skilled, can it be non-credit? Can it be offered as a certificate? Can it be offered quickly? Can we have it a summer program so that students can still get in the field because they need employment? Some of our students need fast employment. They need it. So we need to be able to serve that as well. But can that skill be built onto another degree or a bachelor's degree and so forth? Really good discussion. Thank you. Okay. So we've looked at the data, we've identified the programs, we figured out what our emerging trends are. The next step is your program advisory committee. We've got to get in the hands of the employers. They've got to be at the table. So here's how it goes. You look at the data, you review it as a faculty and administrators, we get into our little think tank, and then we say, this is what we think we want to do. Once you have that little seed of an idea, that's the place to bring in an employer or two to start to have those heart-to-heart discussions about it. At your annual required program advisory meetings, you put that into place. If you don't currently have program advisory meetings for a specific major because it's not required, I highly, highly recommend it, okay? It is so important to engage your employers at every major, like I said, from anthropology to accounting. It's extremely important to do that. And I love this. When I put table, it gave me an automatic icon of a little plate. People love food. Invite them over to eat. They will give you their honest opinion just to have dinner with you. Okay, so it's really, really fun. Okay, let's talk programming. What programs do we need to increase support? What emerging jobs? And are there opportunities for interdisciplinary collaboration? One of the key pieces in this is to constantly be looking at the data in terms of what's next, what is happening next. So keeping our ears to the pulse, heading over to those technology conferences, going to, looking at YouTube, reviewing the items and seeing what's next. The other thing is bringing it back to the colleges in the manner in which it's professionally developing our faculty so that they can get the skills to teach our students. There's constant conversation about collaboration in the community college. There's constant conversation about shared governance and those ideas of being collegial and participatory with each other. But there's rarely a conversation related to this, interdisciplinary collaboration. And this is what I mean. Entrepreneurship, for example, is one of those areas that could be in almost every field, okay? If you learn about how to have an entrepreneurship mindset, you can be a better engineer. You can be a better police officer. You can look at things differently and have a different program mindset. We need to look at, as a community college, review our pathways in ways that they could intersect and allow for electives and other items within the student's ed plan to go across into another area so that that student becomes more well-rounded. Very essential. This is a 2-year pathway, so we're getting down to the consumer message. Our students need to know how to finish the plan. They need to know how to finish the plan. What do I take in the first semester? What do I take in the second semester, third and fourth, and so on? And at what points am I meeting with my counselors? Very important to have these pathways in a manner that helps the students to at least start with a set point, okay? The next thing, Barstow's gone above and beyond, not just putting the roadmaps together, but every roadmap has labor market statistics at the back of it. So thank you for choosing this pathway, but here's more information about the jobs that are possible in your area. And guess what? The information back here is relevant to our field and our area, the Inland Empire. It's very critical. I just want to recommend that for teams that are on the call. If you're working through your roadmaps or you're updating them, utilize your labor market statistics to tell the story to the students about what is possible. The last thing is essential skills. Oh my gosh, if I wasn't in a program advisory committee that somebody said I need soft skills, I think I would just retire. There are so many times where they just say, hello, work ethic. We need people who are, take ownership. They come on time. They problem solve. Well, that is not a PLO, right? That is not a course learning outcome. It is so hard to put these things in that. Or is it, right? Or is it? So really revamping and looking at our programs in a manner in which we're using these components of essential skills, and it's putting them, little seeds, inside every single major, right? So more problem solving activities. Maybe it's, more about ownership. Maybe it's more teamwork related. Whatever those things are, as you develop your assessments, assignments in your classroom, you can sprinkle in these essential skills, absolutely. And nice thing about it again, these essential skills came from our employers in our region, and they're available to you. This is my last message, we need to lean into the connection of the pathway and careers and employment. We got to lean in, right? There's no more like, I'm going to tip my toe in it. Guided pathways have something to do with careers, but I'm going to kind of ignore it. It's not that way anymore. We need to lean into the idea that each pathway, whether it was traditionally career education or not traditionally career education, has now a labor market angle that needs to be looked at. That's the bottom line. We heard it today in the keynote speaker, and we're going to keep hearing it until we align each major, all 30, 40 majors across everyone's campus, in a manner that allows for the students to know where they're going and what kind of wage they'll get when they're there. This is my last quote, and I will read this one. Educators hold a unique responsibility to make sure their students are prepared for whatever comes after they graduate, which for college students generally means the professional world. By analyzing wage and employment data and engaging in open and honest conversations like we did today, with employers and colleges can better align the education they offer with what students need to succeed after they graduate. They can better ensure that their programs are providing students with the skills and abilities that they have a right to expect as the college education to confer. Labor market information is increasingly available, and our hope is that this is a guide to promote its constructive use. And I concur wholeheartedly that we need to use labor market data to inform our decisions, to create programs that will emerge our students into pathways, and for us to be very, very cognizant of the fact that we need to bring our employer partners into the table. And that is all I have. So any questions? We have 3 minutes for questions. And if you have any, comments, questions after this, please email me. The handouts are on the what is it called, Chris?
Attentify.
Attentify. I'm
The
like,
Attentify app.
Attentify app. Thank you so
At
much.
this session, all of the handouts and PowerPoint are there for you.
Wonderful. All right. Well, thank you guys. I can see that a few of you are, you know, just giving your goodbye messages. So have a wonderful day. If there's any questions, I'll stay on for the next 2 minutes.
Thanks
Have a
for
good
calling.
day. Bye, guys. Good to see you, Jason. Bye.